In order to successfully challenge multiculturalism, we've got to start using the words culturism and culturist. Spread the word. Use them today. Right now we're losing the rhetorical war. Multiculturalism is the official credo of the West. This means that we cannot have culturist immigration laws. This means that we cannot push assimilation. This means that we can't even prefer Western law over Sharia or Islamic law. Whenever we try to do these things, they say, you are racist. And all we can do right now is go on the defensive and say, no, we're not racist. Our ideas get marginalized and we are not heard. Instead of going on the defensive, we've got to say, no, we're not multiculturalists. We are culturists. And at this point, they have two strategies. Both of them are failures. They can say, well, culturism is racism. And wait, the word culturist and culturist overtly refer to culture. They can't play that game. Culture and race are different things. They'll lose that battle. The other thing they can do is they can say, well, cultural diversity isn't really that important. We say, well, I thought you wanted to celebrate it. And they say, well, again, they really only think that it deals with food and fashion and festivals. They're weak here. As culturists, we can go on the aggression because we can show Sharia law, we can show child brides, we can show female genital mutilation. We have a lot of things to point out to make them say, well, okay, all right, don't want to celebrate that, don't want to. Then they go on the defensive, they become culturists. There are a lot of people in the West that are fed up with multiculturalism, but they're afraid of being called racist. If we give them the word culturism, they'll immediately get it because, oh, that's the opposite of multiculturalism. They'll understand, and they'll be able to talk about the issues that bother them without being afraid of being called racist. And we have a lot of opportunities to do this, right? It's important that people do this in education schools. Right now they are officially multicultural. Whenever you hear about that in ed school, I want you to say, wait a minute. Are we going to hear about both sides or are we just going to be indoctrinated? You people who are political bloggers and writers and thinkers, don't just say, I don't like multiculturalism. Say, I am for culturism. I am a culturist. This is an aggressive act. This gets our agenda on the table. If this spreads, eventually politicians will have to act. And when they start saying celebrate diversity, we can say, wait a minute. You're from a Western nation. Do you not believe that there's a traditional majority culture here like the culturists do? And they're not going to want to say, I'm a French politician, but I don't think there's a French culture. I'm a British politician, but I don't think there's a British. This puts them on the defensive. And if they can say, well, wait a minute, it's oppressive, it's wrong to enforce, you say, wait a minute, a majority culture, you say, wait a minute, what about Saudi Arabia? Do they have a right to do it? What about China? Do they have a right to? What about Korea? Do they have a? And again, then they're in the defensive. They have to explain why only the West has to be multiculturalism, why only the West doesn't have a right to define, protect, and promote its majority culture. Again, if we want to stop being on the defensive and just saying we're not racist, if we want to go on the offensive, if we want to promote an agenda, we've got to defeat multiculturalism. And in order to do that, we've got to use the words culturism and culturist. This is free. Do it today. Spread the words.